Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here, and welcome to the second part of Wednesday's video. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to call this yet. It is an air lift system for water to get it above a certain height out of an aquarium or sump or whatever. But I don't know if it's like a air ladder, air stairs, air lock system. I don't know. I have to figure that out yet. If you have any suggestions, just let me know below. So what I'm going to do today is put on the second two boxes. These are going to fit on the other side, and they're going to finish up the lift system for getting the water a full 10 inches above the tank. If you remember from Wednesday, this is going to go into one of my tanks in the shop, and it's going to raise the water up above the tank. I mean, it's a big tank, so it will hold this easily. Later on, I mean, I do have ideas for slimming this down for like a hob type system where it'll sit on the back of a tank and do the same sort of thing, but much more economically as far as space goes. But whenever I do a prototype like this, I want to make sure there's enough room to get in there, fiddle around with it, change things, and that's why a lot of this stuff's not even glued into place. I need to be able to alter it in case these things need to be changed, because I haven't run this for more than, well, while I was testing it out, I've run it for quite a few hours just to make sure they equilibrate so that the flow in each chamber, if it's minutely different, I don't want one to drain down. I want it to balance out right, so I had to run it for a little while. But for this sort of thing, it would have to run for quite a while. I mean, I would have to run this for months and months before I'm happy with it. So that's why it's going to set up in the shop. And that's why a lot of the stuff you're going to see is not glued together, because it needs to be alterable. So there you go. This is glued on now, and I'm going to set it up on its stand, and I'm going to start attaching all the pipes. It actually looks kind of cool, and you can see the step system here before all the piping gets in the way. And I actually do like the look of this. It may be a little difficult to clean, I suspect, but I'm figuring what I'm going to do once this is up and running on the tank. I am going to put pothos or some sort of immersed plant in each of these chambers to give them something to do, and I think it's actually going to look kind of interesting. But that's obviously for another time. So this is actually, I'm going to show you the assembly for each of these little airlift parts. I actually like this. This is something that I can probably maybe modify a little bit from time to time, but I do like the format of this. It does allow me to keep it modular, so I can adjust things, change the shape of something, lengthen a pipe, shorten a pipe, and add pipes, that sort of stuff, and it's just kind of interesting. I like this. This is going to be something I'm going to continue to work with, and this is actually something I've started using for some of my clients and trying it out in a system where I don't get to see it every day. I mean, I have clients that I only see every 2 weeks, and something like that needs to be different. It can't be something that, I can walk by it tomorrow and see how it's going. It has to work reliably, and I'm finding this so far this is really good, and I want to see if that continues. And as you can see, they go together quite easily. I've machined them so that they are adjustable and easily insertable, but still have enough of a friction fit that it'll just all hold together. So here are the first four are attached. I'm going to stick on the fifth one now, and as you can see, I mean, it looks kind of neat. And it actually is something that I really like. And as far as this being a functional thing that you would want for like your fish room or something instead of a simple little air pump, or sorry, a water pump, obviously this has, it's a lot bulkier and really isn't that necessary. But I like building things, and I think fiddling with stuff like this, it gives me ideas for actually practical things. And this has actually given me a couple of practical ideas that I can actually use for clients that will involve kind of like a desktop sort of waterfall system, but instead of running it on a pump, because I find sometimes a pump can get a lot of vibration in it and that sort of stuff, and it's not practical sometimes for a desktop. Whereas in this case, I could hide the hoses internally and put the air pump in this case, into a cabinet nearby, and it would be soundless except for the dripping of water. And that's actually something that a few people I've talked to, clients that are kind of interested in. And so we'll see how that all goes. Now this is temporary. That little add-on I just wiggled, that's why it's loose. This is actually a fitting for another job I'm doing for somebody, and I just needed something to bring the water away from this assembly just so I can show you the results. So here's the first one on now. This is pretty much the first two are going to be exactly the same as Wednesday's, and the thing I'm looking for here as I plug in more and more of these is it going to maintain flow? Because that's the most important thing. If I can't get usable flow rate from bottom to top, so from chamber 1 all the way through to chamber 5, then this is not really usable. So there's no practical application for something that can't do that at least. So there we go. That's number 3. So this is new territory for me now, and it is bubbling just as regularly as the others, and I think this is actually kind of cool. At this point I was actually feeling quite comfortable thinking that this is actually something that is usable. And there we go. All the chambers are running. They're all full. They're all maintaining equilibrium, which means they're all flowing at the same rate, so none are draining and none are overflowing. That's actually very important. I am going to hook this up with air stones at some point in the near future just to see what that looks like. I'm going to have to try and find 5 air stones that are relatively same porosity so that we're getting the same amount of air, and I'm going to hook it all that sort of stuff up just to see how that all goes. Now, one of the things I was doing as I was going along here, I was thinking that it seemed a little bit slower, and apparently so was I, because I wasn't realizing until I had hooked this up about 2 minutes later. I realized I had obviously taken 5 new air lines off of my air pump, and the air pressure was just a little bit lower, which means the flow rate wasn't quite as much as I was expecting. So what I did then, of course, is I stopped off 5 of them from the other tanks, and then had the same amount of air pressure as I had before, obviously, at this point, and it actually did increase the airflow, and it did increase, obviously, the flow of water. So here you go, it's now operating at full pressure, and this is only standard air pump pressure. There's no extra flow at all. So this is this exact same thing you would get if you plugged it into a store-bought air pump and hooked them all up. There you go. I think it's kind of cool. I'm going to find lots of uses for this, at least in the shop. As time goes on, I think I'm going to find some uses for this commercially for clients. We'll see how it goes. I mean, the rest of this is just going to be, this is my camera now hooked up, and it's going to be in fast forward here shortly, just to show you all the different steps, because I had this running the entire time while I was filling it out. So if you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe. That would be much appreciated. And like I said, I've been very busy, so the 9K subs giveaway will be coming up hopefully next week, but I'm not going to say for sure because I've had to move 2 tanks this week, and I still haven't finished all that, and there's an awful lot of work involved in doing those things. So once I get caught up on my work, I'll definitely do that. And thank you very much for all that. Thank you very much for watching my videos. I mean, it still astonishes me that people will spend time out of very busy days. I mean, no one, and this is just amazing to me. So thank you very much for that. And also, for this particular video, let me know what you think. What you think the look of it is. Obviously, it's not practical in this shape for most people, but I think it does have applications. And if you have something interesting, like a thought you have for what you would like to see this, be built into or used for, definitely put that in the comments. That'd be really cool. Happy to hear about any sort of thoughts you have. And there you go. That's it running up. It's going to slow down into regular speed here in a second because it looks really chaotic. and then it'll look actually more normal. And like I said, I'm going to hook this up into an air-driven system, with Airstone, so that'll be interesting to do. So thank you again for watching. I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.